The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, and welcome to the Metro MLS webinar using Hotsheets in FlexMLS. So in this webinar, we're going to review the 3 types of Hotsheets that you can create and use based upon whatever your needs are. Before we get started, just a couple housekeeping tips. In your GoToWebinar control panel, you've got some options there. So the way that I'm going to run this webinar is I'll review a section, and then at the end of the section I review, I'll stop and ask if there's any questions. If you do have a question, there should be like a little hand icon on that control panel over there. Click that. That shoots me a little icon showing that someone has a question, and then I'll address it. I'll read the question out loud and then respond to it verbally. To ask a question, I think you have a questions or a chat panel on there. You can type in there. So I'm just going to type and see which one this is. Let's see. I think it's the chat one. So I'm just going to type a message. Hi, can you hear me? All right. So if you got that, I think that's the panel that you'll type your question in. I can never remember which one it is on this side here. All right, and if you want to just go ahead and just shoot a yep or yes or okay or let's go, you can, just to get a little bit used to it. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch my tab here. So going to go into the system tab. Thank you for your response, Taylor. All right, so Hotsheets in FlexMLS. To access your Hotsheet, you'll click on your menu button, and then underneath the My Market section, you'll see the hot sheet. So I'm going to start there. So when you click on that hot sheet entry, it brings you into this screen. And you've got 2 kinds of hot sheets that you can use here. I'll start with the first one, which is the 24-hour hot sheet. The 24-hour hot sheet will track all events in a county in the past 24 hours, okay? And also when you run the 24 hot sheet on a Monday, it'll display the last 72 hours of listing activities. So it'll include listing updates from Friday through the weekend. So, you know, Tuesday through Friday, it's the 24-hour one. And then when you run it on Monday, it includes the weekend's activity. So the 24-hour hot sheet will track all events that happened in any particular county that we cover. So here you can select up to 6 counties at one time if you'd like. So I'm going to click my mouse here in this field. So when I single left click my mouse, it brings up the county selection. You can either scroll down and look through the counties, or you can just type in the county that you want. So I'll type in Milwaukee and select that. Now, if you're selecting more than one county at a time, it's going to blend your results. So if you like to keep them separate, run your county separate. But if I were to do Waukesha, it'll blend all of my results, and I'll just keep that there to show you. All right. So, okay, so I've selected Milwaukee and Waukesha counties for the 24-hour hot sheet. Once I have the counties selected that I'd like, I'll click Run 24-hour hot sheet. So when you single left click that button, it'll show you here. This is the hot sheet. It starts yesterday at the time that it is now, 10:03. So it's picking up listings from this time, 10:03 a.m. yesterday, to the time that it is now. All right. So here, these are the events that is tracking. So I'm hovering my mouse over it. So between Milwaukee and Waukesha County, there were 90 new listings. There were 58 that went active with offer. We don't do canceled in our MLS, so that will always be 0. There were 67 entered in as sold, 19 expired, 44 in pending status, 4 withdrawn, 12 that were extended, meaning the expiration date was extended out, 9 that were put back on the market. There were 64 price changes, and 7 new delayed listings entered in. So the default when you pull up a hot sheet is the new listings. So as you're scrolling down here, you'll see that it mixes all the property types. Everything's mixed in together. It's just giving you all new listings for whatever county that you've selected. So here you've got the information here, the address and the status, and it's a new listing. Property type, the county, the municipality, beds, baths, if that applies, the list price, the listing member, and the listing office. So you can kind of scroll through there and see that information. All right. So now you see here, sometimes this gets a bit confusing. So here you're in the new listings category, but you go, oh, well, what's that pending doing there? This listing was entered in new and pending within that same 24-hour period. And just to verify that, I'll show you. So I'm just going to click on that listing. Then I'll go to detail, and then I'll go to history. And then I'll click on the plus sign here. So you can see it was entered in yesterday evening at 7:54, and then they marked it as pending just right after. So whenever you see a status like that that doesn't seem to match up, that means that it had at least that activity twice within that 24-hour period. All right. And then just to switch through, if you wanted to see what was delayed, you can click on that. So you can click on any of these categories to look at what was in that section, okay? If you wanted to select any of them for any particular reason, maybe I want to select all of those for the delayed and then some of the new listings, you can do that if you'd like to. And then just switch over to the selected link, and then you can email or print or pull them into a CMA or do whatever you want to do, okay? All right, so that is the 24-hour hot sheet. Again, that will give you all activity for the county or counties up to 6 that you select for all of the entry categories here. And I'm checking to see if we have any questions. All right, I don't see any hands raised. All right, so that's the 24-hour hot sheet. The next hot sheet I'll show you, we'll go back into menu and hot sheet, is the custom hot sheet here. Now, actually, this one has a lot more options than the 24-hour hot sheet. So we're going into the custom hot sheet, and the first hot sheet that I'm going to show you within custom hot sheet is the quick search hot sheet. So I'm going to click this button here, custom hot sheet settings, or this link. All right, so that brings you into the hot sheet inquiry screen. So these two boxes that you see right here, quick search and save search, each of these are their own hot sheets. The date, time, and events boxes apply, you can use to each of these hot sheets. So we'll start with this quick search hot sheet. So maybe the 24-hour hot sheet is a little bit more than you want it to. You want to narrow your focus down specifically to a particular property type, maybe a particular county, price range. Quick search hot sheet will allow you to do that. All right, so the time period that you can go back is 45-day maximum. So let's say I wanted to see all of the new listings for vacant land in a particular county. So since the beginning of the month. So I'm going to do the start date. So I'm going to switch that to July 1st, and then I'll leave that as today's date. So from the beginning of the month to today's date, I'll start at midnight since that's the start of every day. And I'll leave it at 11:59 p.m. It can't give me anything that hasn't happened yet. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select new listings because I want to see new listings since the beginning of the month, starting at midnight to the end date, for vacant land properties. Okay, so I'll select my property type, and you can choose more than one property type if you'd like to. I'm just going to leave it simple as vacant land. And then let's say I want to do it for Ozaukee County. So I'll scroll down, I'll select Ozaukee. I can even narrow it down to the MLS. If I want to see everybody's listings that match the criteria, I'll leave both of these highlighted. But if I only wanted to narrow it down to a specific MLS, I could do that. All right, so now that I have the date and time, the event, my property type, and my county selected, I'm going to run quick search hot sheet. So this is giving me all the new vacant land listings since the beginning of the month to today. So there were 11. All right. And it's one of those are already in pending status. So this will allow you to narrow your focus. If you don't want to see everything, all activity in a county, you don't have to. You can just use that quick search hot sheet. And I'll just go back there and show you again. So menu, underneath my market, hot sheet. And for custom hot sheet settings. This is the box that we just used, the quick search hot sheet. We can choose our events, and you can do any number or all of them if you'd like to. Do your start and end date. You can go back a maximum of 45 days, and that's always there if you ever forget. And then your start time, I always suggest starting from midnight since that's the beginning of a new day, and leaving at 11:59 p.m. All right. Do we have any questions on the quick search custom hot sheet? Okay, I'm checking to see if I see any hands over there. All right, great. The next hot sheet is what we call a custom saved search hot sheet. So the searches that you see in here are searches that you have saved in your FlexMLS account that aren't attached to a contact. You would use them for any purposes here. So before I use any of these, I'll show you how to create a custom saved search hot sheet. So to create your hot sheet, you start from a search. So I'll start from full search. If you don't have full search up here in your menu, just click on your menu button, and then underneath the search section, click on full search. So the purpose of this hot sheet is you'll be able to create and save this search one time, and then you can just go in and just run it with a button to pick up from the last time that you left off. All right, so maybe there's a particular area or property type status that you want to track on a somewhat regular basis, and you don't want to have to recreate the wheel each time. Okay, so let's say we want to keep track of let's say we want to keep track of condominium properties. Let's do active and sold. Okay. All right, so now that we've done that, we'll choose our county. And because you're in a full search, you can make this as specific as you need it to be. So whatever you want to narrow down to, even if it's to a radius of a particular address or landmark, you can do that. Everything a full search allows you to do, you can do for this hot sheet. So I'm going to do mine for Ozaukee County, and I'll just leave it like that. Let's say I wanted to do it for a particular, let's say I wanted to do it for 2 to 3 bedrooms, at least 1.5 baths. All right. I am going to I'm not going to put a date in there for solds because this is a hot sheet. It'll pick up new activity. This will give me everything, but it'll pick up new activity. It doesn't hurt if you pop in the sold date in there. So if you don't want to go so far back, so it's totally up to you. You don't have to mark a sold date if you don't want to. I'm going to deselect it just to show you how that works. All right. So just so you know, I've done condominium. Active and sold in Ozaukee County, 2 to 3 bedrooms, at least 1.5 baths. I want to track what comes on the market and what's sold on the market that meets whatever criteria that I've got set for it. So I'm not going to view my results. I just want to save this, but you can view them if you want to. But I'm just going to save it since it's going to be my hot sheet. So once I click save, it'll come to the save search screen where I'm going to give that search to name. So I'm going to call it OZA Condo Hot Sheet Act and Sold. Just so that's just for me. That's what I want to name it. All right. So now I'm just going to click on finish. So now when I click on finish, any searches that you save that aren't attached to a customer will end up here and show my saved searches. So just to show you how to access it straight from logging in, click on menu, and then underneath the search section, click on Save Search, and that'll bring you here to this screen. All right. So there is that hot sheet that I just created. So when I select it over here, it'll show me the parameters that I have saved for that hot sheet. Okay. If I pop the description in on the save search screen, it'll show here. And then this is the section here that you want to focus on, the results. So view all is everything in the system that matches the search criteria, everything. View new in the last 24 hours. If something has come in new in the last 24 hours, that will populate there. View new since. This will date back a month, 30 days from the date that you're creating it. So today is the 25th of July. It'll go give you 30 days back here. And then this, reset the time and view new since. So this will basically, when you click this link, it'll open up the results from a month back, but it time stamps it for today's date. So when you come back in to check it, it will pick up from where you left off. So there's no gap. So I'm going to click this view totals here, so you can see your numbers. All right, so that's everything in the system that matches this search criteria. View new in the last 24 hours. There's been 3 listings new that match my search criteria since the last 24 hours. So if I want to see that, I just click on it and it brings up those 3 listings. So there were 2 new active and a sold in the last 24 hours. And then you can navigate to everything out here to look at that information. All right. All right, so I'm going to go back to save search and show you the other stuff there and hit view totals. So this is view new since a month back. So if I wanted to look at those 63 without resetting the timestamp, I could. So if I click on that, that'll show me those 63 that were new in the month going back. Oops. So you can see all of that. All right. And then the last one, the last link, which is the most important link, is the reset time and view new since. So this is one of the ways that you can come in and you can check this save search hot sheet. You can come right to save searches and you can come here. I'll hit view totals. So when I click this link, notice the date and the time stamp that it is now. I'm going to click it. So it'll show me those from a month back. Now, whether if I decide to come in later this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, the next time that I check this hot sheet, it will be date and time stamp for the date and time that it is right this moment. So I'll go back and show you that. And there it is right there. So there's no gap period. You can just come right in here and you can click on it and it'll pick it up from the last time that you checked it. So since that was only a few moments ago, that's back to 0. But if I came in tomorrow or a few days from now, I might have some results. So this way you don't have to remember, oh, when was the last time I checked that hot sheet? You can just come right here to save search. Select that hot sheet, hit your view totals just to check your number. If you've got a number there, then you can just click on that and it'll open up to those new results and then date and time mark it for the time that you opened it. So the next time you came back in, there's no gap. It's picking it up right to the minute. All right. Do we have any questions on checking your custom save search hot sheet from the save search screen? Alrighty. Now, another thing is if you've got a lot of them in here, like I've got a few, I've seen agents that have tons of them. If there's certain ones that you want to mark as favorites, that will put them here at the top of the list so you don't have to kind of zoom up and down your list. Just select the hot sheet and then you see right here where it says not a favorite, click to add. You can add it as a favorite. So if it's something that you run kind of often, it'll pop it right up to the top to your favorites where you can access it a little more easier without having to zoom up and down your list. Okay? Now, the other way to check this save search hot sheet is through the hot sheet in the menu. So I'll show you how to do that. So menu, and then underneath my market, click on hot sheet. All right, so that's here, your custom hot sheet. We'll click on custom hot sheet settings. So maybe you were on vacation out of town, enjoying yourself. So, you wanted to come back here, but there's some things that you want to adjust. Maybe you just don't want to just run it as a blanket save search hot sheet to see what was updated. Maybe you want to narrow down to see, which ones were new, which ones were sold, which ones were delayed, which ones were whatever. This is where you can adjust the start and date times in the event for this Save Search hot sheet. Okay, so let's say for the one that I did, that Ozaki condo hot sheet. So again, we're doing the Save Search hot sheet from the custom settings. All right, so let's say I wanted to see what was new since the 1st of July. Come back here, set my date, set my time, and then I can come over here and maybe I just want to see what was brand new for that search. So now I've got my hot sheet selected over here with my date and time and my event. And then now I'll hit this button, Run Save Search Hot Sheet. So for that particular save search that I did, I only wanted to see what came in new since the beginning of the month. So I did active and sold in the save search itself, but now I want to see what was brand new within a certain period of time. You can make those adjustments if you need to. So there were 18 that were brand new in that period of time, and one of them have sold. Okay, so that part of the system, if you need to manipulate the date range up to 45 days previously and manipulate the event that you wanted to see, you can do that in this hot sheet here. That same Save Search hot sheet, but going into the custom hot sheet settings. So you choose it over here and then do your date and time manipulations and your events that you want to use. And you can create as many of these Save Search hot sheets as you want to. If you're looking at different property types and different areas for whatever it is that you want to, just start it from a full search, and you knock out that full search based upon what it is that you want to include, and you just save it. Okay, and I'll just quickly step through that again. So start from full search, whatever it is that you want to monitor, you choose here. And the statuses, you choose here, and enter in the parameters that you want. So if you want to keep it really basic or if you want to narrow it down, you make that decision. You choose what you want. Go directly to save, or if you want to look at the results, you can. But if you don't need to, go directly to save. Once you're here at Save Search, give that hot sheet a name. If you want to give a little description here of what that hot sheet is for, you can, and then just hit Finish. Hitting Finish will add it to your saved searches. Okay? Do we have any questions on the custom Save Search hot sheet? All right. Now there was another button over in the hot sheet that we didn't review, and I'll show you how that works. So when I click on Menu, I'll go back to my Marketing hot sheet. Now this Run Custom Hot Sheet button, I tend not to use it a lot. What this does is when you hit Run Custom Hot Sheet, it runs the very last hot sheet in that screen that you did. So I'll click it, and I think it was the Ozaki one that I ran. I can't remember. But it grabs, so it shows me, yeah, it was the Ozaki one. So hot sheet for whatever you ran, I ran it at 1020. Now it's 1023. That's why I had no results. You have to remember which hot sheet it was that you ran, because this button grabs the very last hot sheet, custom hot sheet that you ran, whether if it was the quick search hot sheet that you had the box for or a save search hot sheet. It's just picking up the last one that you ran. And if you do more than 2 of these, it gets kind of hard to remember which one you ran. But if you only have one, and if you keep it to one and you like to keep it to one, then most definitely you could use that. But you have to remember what hot sheet it was that you ran last, because that's the one that it's going to grab. And it doesn't tell you, hey, this is what it's going to run before you run it. So I tend to avoid this button because I've got quite a few hot sheets in there, and there's just no way I can keep up with the last one that I ran. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. So I usually always point people to go to this custom hot sheet settings. That way you can figure out if you want to do the saved search one or if you want to do the quick search one, and then adjust your dates and times for what you need to. Okay. All right. So again, one option for running your custom save search hot sheets is in the hot sheet custom hot sheet settings link, or if it's quicker for you, just to go to your save search, select that hot sheet, and then just run it. So this is a hot sheet I have for set up for delayed listings. So the last time that I ran it, it's picking up from the last time that I ran it. So there's been 12 delayed listings entered in since the last time that I ran it. So if I were to go back to Save Search Hot Sheet and select it, there's the date and time stamp there. So if something has just been added in the last few seconds, it'll show there, but it's giving me 0. All right. Do we have any questions on anything in regards to running, creating, and using hot sheets in FlexMLS? Okay, well, I did record this webinar, so once GoToWebinar gets it spooled and ready online, I will email it to each of you that are in the list. So in case you forget something, you can always just kind of quickly go back through it. Also, our training guides are on metromls.com underneath member support. FlexMLS manuals are all of our PDF guides. So we've got the hot sheet there, custom hot sheet there. I believe we might have a video on it. I can't remember. I've done so many videos. But you can always check our training videos here. But I will be emailing each of you the recording for this webinar. If you have any questions on this or anything else, please don't hesitate to call us at the help desk at 414-778-5450, or you can email us at support@metromls.com. You guys have a great day and sell lots.